And it looks like we have begun the pre-show. What's up, Yankee?
Oh, this is great. It's been a while, man.
It's been 2 weeks.
I know. Seems like longer. Maybe it's because, well, last time was kind of a special one. We had a guest on, but when it was just the two of us, it's been a while.
You're right.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, for just you and me, it's been
Mm-hmm.
over a month.
How you
So
doing?
I'm doing great. I'm happy to
Cool.
be back. I'm full of energy. I'm excited. It's Silver's taking off.
I know, right? Yeah, we gotta talk about this, right? Silver is showing some interesting, fun strength. I love it.
Right. Yeah. No. That's kind of the story, right? It's like, where's
Mm-hmm.
it going? What's it doing? Why is it doing
Mm-hmm.
it? And you
Yes.
know, it's surprising to me because usually the summer is like the doldrums.
Doldrums. It is.
Yeah.
Yeah. This is like when people stop thinking about silver and gold precious metals until it gets crisp. Fall, winter rolls around, the holidays, all that. But it's amazing. 20. What are you seeing now for spot? 29 and change. 29,
29.83
83.
on
Okay.
SD Bullion,
Yeah.
which is another thing we could talk about. How different
Mm,
websites show different numbers.
that is absolutely true. Do you get a lot of questions on that?
Oh my gosh.
I
And
get
usually
emails all the
I
time.
made like so I made a video like a year or 2 years ago about it.
Mm-hmm.
And
Mm-hmm.
usually when people email me, I just send them the link to that video. I'm like, here's the answer. I can't say it better than this, but
Okay. I have the same thing when it comes to confiscation. I
right,
do.
yes,
I do. I have a whole playlist. I just kind of go, here's my playlist.
yeah,
But yeah, I mean, there is a difference, and it is interesting. I actually talked with Chase and Cole about that, and
right,
asked them point blank, what's going on, why, and it's pretty straightforward, very easy to understand. But a lot of people get their numbers from Kitco, right? I have the app on my phone. I
yeah,
pull it out when I'm on the road,
yeah,
where I'm at. Yeah, but that's not a fully loaded price. If you go to actually buy silver from them, suddenly
it's
it's going to be
higher.
a lot higher. You got it.
Yeah, that is really interesting. Some use the ask, some use the
Mm-hmm.
bid,
Mm-hmm.
and exactly when you go to buy it, even from them, it's a different price.
Exactly.
So yeah, the real thing is why would they all not have different prices? But anyway, what's up, chat? Tooly's here. Metally corrupted, Tiger, the whole crew. We got some newbies. It looks like if you haven't been here before, if it's your first time, put a one in the chat. Let us know. Let us know that you're here.
Tuli, you're the only mod. Nope, I see Tiger Stacker in here. All right, so you got a couple mods. They're great mods.
We only need two at least, right?
That's right. Right. Well, actually, one really good one, and they're both good. All right, so we got a lot of ones.
Looks
Wealthy
like
Alloy 27 is really making their point.
it's
First
yes. We
time.
understand. You're new. Welcome. We're happy to have you here.
Great to have you here.
Yeah, and there will be a giveaway at the end.
Mhm.
So hang out for that. Maybe win some free silver, and of course, we'll do the live Q&A, which is one of my favorite parts of the show. That's like the show now,
It really has morphed into that. You know why? Because we asked the people what they wanted,
and that's what
and
they
that's what
wanted.
they wanted. uh,
Honestly, this show is for you guys. That's the reason we're still doing it.
mhm.
I mean, this is season 6. I can't believe, and we're like halfway through the season
It's incredible, man. I'm coming up on my 6th year
on YouTube.
on YouTube, right? Yep. So yeah, it's
Mm.
pretty awesome.
Yeah, so you're gonna do a little party or something?
I'll have a little party. Absolutely. That'll be a fun celebration in August.
There you go. Yeah.
But but you're absolutely right. Silver Pros, it really is to help people, especially new stackers, but also seasoned stackers, understand all kinds of things about silver. Get your questions answered, right? Or
Yes.
I'm sorry, all your questions answered. I'm sorry, you had
Of
that in the
course.
title.
Every single question possible. I'm going to go to the main screen here.
All right.
And, before we jump into this whole thing,
Mm-hmm.
we got to show the giveaway, don't we?
Yeah. Actually, you already did, right? Is it on the thumbnail?
It is on the thumbnail. I'm going to show it here
Okay,
on the screen so you guys can take
good.
a little look. See, it is the
Sweet.
2023 1 ounce Tree of Life silver coin, and it's an exclusive over at SD Bullion, and it is a beauty. You've got.
Oh,
Do you
very
have one from
nice.
every year, Yankee, or?
I have one of every type, right? So, in fact, I
Still got
think I
to get
have it.
the.
I got the sword, I got the tree, I got the ram, got the lion. I'm looking at them right now on my desk.
All right,
Yeah, they're beautiful. Mm.
all right. I'm gonna
But they
put
do
the.
have different, verses and stuff on them for each year, right? So they change it up
They
every
do
year.
change, yeah. You kind of do need one from every year,
Hmm.
so that's something you can work on, maybe, huh?
Yes.
All
Yes,
right.
maybe I could.
I'm putting the Q&A in. I'm going to start the Q&A.
Oh, good.
And so, yeah, stick around to the end of the stream if you want to win this beautiful 1 ounce silver coin. It is a coin.
Hmm.
And go ahead and put your questions in that blue area. But
Ooh, one other thing, the
yeah,
giveaway, that giveaway.
yeah.
To enter, you need to be active in the chat. That's pretty much it. I mean, you obviously have to subscribe to, Silver Dragons.
Mm-hmm.
I would appreciate a sub too, because we do this back and forth on both of our channels every couple of weeks. We alternate. So, but for tonight, you just subscribe and put something in the chat.
There you go. And with that, let's kick it off, shall we?
Go for it.
Okay. Welcome to Silver Pros, sponsored by SD Bullion. I'm your host, Silver Dragons, and I'm joined by my awesome co-host, Yankee Stacking. What's up, Yankee?
Thanks. I'm doing great. How you doing, man?
Doing wonderful. You know, this is a momentous occasion. We are
Mm-hmm.
live, and silver is sitting right now at $29.80. It is knock, knock, knocking on the $30 door. What do you think about it?
I think it's exciting to see. Obviously, if you're just new to stacking, you might not want to see that threshold crossed and held, but it is nice to see because silver has really been holding back, I think, from its proper price, an inflation adjusted price. Gold has kind of led the way. Silver needs to get up there and show everybody what it's made of. So,
Yes, yes, very true. And I just did a video, and I did bring up the gold silver ratio sort of at the
mm-hmm.
end of the video. But essentially, right now, we are parked at 80 to 1. Okay, so 80 ounces of silver, same value as 1 ounce of gold, just
Mm.
looking at spot price. Now, the historical averages for this last
Mm.
century fluctuating between 70 to 1 and 50 to 1. So, call it 60 is really the average.
Right.
We got a ways to go. I mean, silver's got to go up quite a bit to bring us closer to that 60 to 1. So, I agree. I think silver is definitely undervalued. I think
Hugely undervalued, man.
right. I'm underselling it. I'm
Hugely.
underselling it.
Oh man, it's going to be an ugly situation economically in our country when silver gets into the triple digits and higher. It's already pretty bad now, but we ain't seen nothing yet. So it's not that we're wishing, silver to shoot the moon, because it means a lot of negative things in our lives.
Mm-hmm.
But it deserves to be up there, unfortunately. So,
Right, absolutely. Okay, so we do have the live Q&A here. We got the questions getting loaded up. I see a
oh, they're
bunch of
flying.
questions,
Yeah.
and we're going to start taking these. So feel free to put your questions there. And you know what? I think I'm actually going to start with this one here by IRM, because it's basically what we're talking about.
Mhm.
Why was silver at $30 in 2013 and not been back since? So, I mean, it
That's a
has been
loaded
11
question.
years,
It
right?
has. Yep.
What do you think?
Oh boy. I think there's a lot of factors in this. Um, I think, let me see. I think inflation has been hidden for a long time and has gone into other areas,
Mm-hmm.
other sectors, like the stock market is largely in there, and even some crypto. Other things have hidden the inflationary pressures on precious metals. But I think we all know, and we can all agree now, The cat's out of the bag. We know inflation is for real. I was looking back at a Time magazine article saying inflation is dead, and it was about a decade ago, and it was laughable because I knew that inflation was all the money printing that we had done, and now we're seeing all that come to roost. We're seeing the final, impact of all that money printing being seen in the metals. I think finally it's happening. That's just one aspect of why I think it was depressed. I think there's manipulation involved that have tried to suppress it. I think the dollar has been propped up, but I think we are also seeing the demise of the dollar, even though it takes a long time for a currency to fail. I think we're finally seeing that being shown in the price of silver and gold.
Right. And it's interesting you mentioned inflation because, when COVID got kicked off, they printed 20% of all the currency that's ever been created in 1 year.
Yep.
Right. And it wasn't like printing bills, it was all digital, but they created an enormous amount of currency. It was something like $8 trillion. I
Mm-hmm.
have to go back and look. But yeah, that's what we're seeing is inflation is continuing to roar, and it's not never gone back down to that 2% goal that they had, which is hilarious that they even have a goal to begin with for where they want the currency to inflate at. But clearly, it's much worse than that. And to answer the question, why was it at $30 back in 2013? It actually went up to nearly $50 in 2011.
That was the height,
Right.
recent height. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
And the reason it went up was partly because of mania. Like all the retail investors piling on. Obviously, this was all in the wake of the 2008 financial crisis. But once it hit the mania phase, it went up very, very fast. And then over the next couple of years, it was trickling down. So it hit 30 on the way down in
Mm-hmm.
2013 as it
That
was
is true.
cooling off. There was no way it could sustain those levels. But now things are different. Now silver is at $30, and we're all saying silver's undervalued.
Yes,
It's
exactly.
like literally the opposite.
Well, for it to be inflation adjusted highs, it's going to be triple digits. You have to get a lot higher than that 50
It's got to
in
get
order
to
to see.
142.
You got it. 142 is depending on what stats you use. Yeah, absolutely. It's got to be up there. Can I just say one other thing?
Yeah.
In 2008, when we had the crisis, the Great Recession, global financial crisis, we really thought, and that's when precious metals, after it dipped a bit, took off, gold and silver, right? Reaching those highs. We really didn't think that there was going to be an answer to this. The
Mm.
Fed stepped in. They launched multiple rounds of quantitative easing. They stimulated unprecedented money printing for that time, right? And I believe the general public and especially investors believed that the Fed had won, had succeeded. They did it. They were able to stem the tide, fix the problem. And then what they did is they papered over the problem. And we had this lull of zero interest rates. They just brought it down to nothing. And what happened is malinvestments grew and grew and grew over that decade. And it got worse and worse. Zombie companies, everything built. It's almost like the caldera out in Yellowstone, right?
Mm.
Oh, it looks good. It's all fine, right? And it's all under the surface. Well, finally, we're seeing it breaking through. The Trump, the earthquakes are happening. We're seeing lava start to crack through. It is building to a crescendo, and I think we're going to see it in but this decade, I think we're going to see an amazing bust of a bursting of the silver price. It's going to go into the triple digits this decade. So get ready for that ride, guys.
Well, there
I
you
truly
go.
believe that.
Yankee believes it. I believe it.
Yep.
I would be surprised if it doesn't, to be honest. But
I'd be shocked.
but this year, I don't have any expectations like that this year unless something crazy happens, right? The
No,
Black Swan event, World War III,
no.
whatever.
There's a lot of things that could trigger that, but you're right.
Yeah.
Markets can stay markets can stay uh, insane longer than you can say solvent. I think is the phrase. It can take a long time for this to play out, but I think we've just We started an amazing bull run here with precious metals. Silver
Yes.
does silver does lag gold though. You know gold usually leads, right?
Yep. And gold has been leading. We're finally now getting the confirmation with silver,
Yep.
but it's not over yet. So buckle up. We do have another question here from Matt Jackson. I just bought my first 25 count of maples yesterday, so one tube. Congratulations.
Nice. Ooh.
Is it too late to buy more? Are we going to see more rising of silver spot price? What do you think, Yankee?
We kind of touched on it a little bit. I'd be buying the dips at every move because we're seeing higher lows with
Mm-hmm.
precious metals.
Yeah, if you just got it, like if you're brand new, you got your
Mm-hmm.
first tube,
Yeah.
right? I'd say take a breath. Let's see what happens on Monday. Like I'm not, don't go all in
Right.
today. We
Right.
could still get the
Right.
pullback. I mean,
Sure.
I wouldn't be surprised if silver gets back down to 28, 27, maybe.
Do you remember what our end of year predictions were back in December
I
of
know what mine
2023?
is.
What was yours? What was yours?
$32.33, repeating,
I
of course.
repeating right. Yeah, and mine. Do you remember mine?
I think it was like 30 bucks.
30 third. No, it was higher than you.
Was it?
Yeah, 33.
Okay.
And I had gold at 2300. So I kind of, but who knows? Who knows what's going to happen, right?
Right, and that's end of year, not the highest it hits during the year.
Yeah, that's what we did, right? I just
So,
want to say, Matt, my very first tube of silver that I bought when I started stacking, uh, you know, bullion was a 25 count of maples. So good job to start out
hey,
with that. That's
great
awesome.
minds think alike.
Awesome.
Okay, let's see here. We got one from Griefing Gamer. Which bars, government coins, and rounds is best to start stacking?
Mm.
Interesting. Well, if you want to follow in Matt and Yankee's footsteps, you go with the maples, clearly.
I
But
don't think that's a bad idea in 2024 either. I think maples are good.
right, between those three, you got
Mm-hmm.
bars, government coins, and rounds. Two of them are generics.
Mm-hmm.
One of them's not, the coins. Of the generics, I like the rounds the best. Obviously, 1 ounce size is going to be your bread and butter. That's what I
Yep.
would be going with if I was just getting started now. What you're mentioning, best to start stacking with. I say 1 ounce Buffalo rounds, or whatever the cheapest rounds you could possibly get. That's what I would start with. What do you think,
Yeah,
Yankee?
I agree with you. I would be focusing on the rounds too.
Okay.
Oop.
Well, let's add in one more component because the next question
There we
is
go.
I have a small budget. Should I stack up on junk silver or on regular coins? So now that we bring junk silver into the mix, where do you see that?
Okay, starting with nothing.
Yeah.
Rounds first.
Mm-hmm.
Then I would get some junk. Then I would buy some coins. Then I would buy some bars. That's just me though. You know my approach, right?
So, okay, so no matter what, you're starting with the silver rounds.
And no matter what, you're going to do a really good job getting any of these. All right, guys. But yes, I would probably start with rounds.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, I think junk silver is not the worst thing to start with. I mean, there are some
No.
advantages if you ever need to barter with it. You know you got it, it's locked in. Right now, there's actually kind of a lot of junk silver out there and available. So the
Mm-hmm.
premiums are actually pretty low, but that isn't always the case. I mean, we saw during COVID, no one wanted to sell their junk silver, and the premiums got pretty insane. Not as bad as Eagles, but it got pretty high, didn't it?
Yeah, it did. It was very difficult to get the deals that I was used to, but I think it's definitely a better deal now. So I still would stick with the rounds though. If you've got nothing, get a tube of Buffalo rounds. Just
Hey,
work on that, right?
hey, that's what I started with. one
There
ounce
you go.
silver rounds. It was like my first 20, certainly my first 20 ounces, one tube
Nice.
was silver rounds. I didn't buy the tube, I bought them one at a time, but
Mm-hmm.
that's
Mm-hmm.
how I started. There's nothing wrong with that. And on a small budget, you absolutely can do it.
You know, maybe we'll get to another economic question because there's something that I want to share, but I'm going to table it for now. Let's just look for a question in here that might have something to do with the macroeconomic stuff because I have some more stuff I wanted to share with you in the audience.
Yeah, yeah. There's a lot of questions. Let's see here. People are asked. So we do have a question here, just generally about the Tree
Oh
of
yeah,
Life coin, which is going to be the giveaway today for those people live on YouTube.
correct.
It is the same as the Genesis account of creation. That's exactly right. The Tree of Life.
And it is also the same tree of life found in the book of Revelation at the end. Bookends the Bible. Pretty cool, huh?
Absolutely. All right. What is your ratio? Let's see. Wow, the questions just jumped. There was like 20 and now
Okay, I
there's like
saw that. I
50.
know. I know. I hate when
So,
it does that.
yeah, let's see here. Okay, this is one we were talking about in the pre-show,
Mm-hmm.
and I want you to answer this one, Yankee, because you have been doing research on it and talking to
Mm-hmm.
people about it more than myself. So, the question is from Miles, why is the spot price different from some of the other bullion dealers and Kitco, for example? What's up with
Right.
the variation?
So you got to be careful on this pricing. Some prices that you see are based on um, fully loaded bullion purchasing and sales, right? Buying silver, physical silver, versus just the contract. So some add in overhead to actually say this is the price that we're basing this silver or gold or whatever bullion on when you go to buy it. Case in
Mm-hmm.
point, Kitco. We love to look at Kitco versus SD Bullion or Amex or JM or any of the other ones that post, right?
Or our good friend Smart Silver Stacker just looks at silver futures.
Or
Like
silver
he doesn't
futures.
even look at
Yes,
any of the
exactly.
websites, just
He doesn't
straight to the
look at any of them,
futures.
just the futures
Right.
market. But that is not the stuff that we're talking about when we're talking about stacking physical silver,
Right.
right? So when you go to buy it, a lot of these sites will either include or not include certain costs that are passed on. So when you go to buy, say, silver from SD Bullion and you see the spot price and you see what it is against spot price, that's it. That's the price out the door to get it to you. Sometimes, like with Kitco, they post one price, but then when you go to actually buy it, they add a whole bunch of other stuff that brings it up to par with other sites. So a lot of the times it depends on what you're doing, what you're buying or selling, and what you expect for additional costs to actually get the physical silver.
Right.
It's not the contract price
Exactly. And there's
on
also,
the futures markets. Yep.
of course, and there's also the ask versus the bid, and some websites will show one, others will show the other, and then to add even more into the mix, you have the fact that they're pulling at different times, right? When they're trying to establish the updated price, some websites will pull every minute, some will pull every 5 minutes, some an hour. You actually have to pay more money to pull more frequently. It's built into the API. I've got a computer programmer
Mm-hmm.
buddy who was trying to explain it to me, and so I'm probably not the best person to explain it, but essentially that's another reason for the variation in price across different websites.
Right. And sometimes they're calculated from different locate on different markets, like LIBOR versus what we see here in the United States. So that's over in London. So you get different places around the globe that also determines where they're getting the spot price from. It's
Yes.
challenging to know exactly what it is, but again, a lot of that is based on the futures markets and contracts, not the physical retail silver that you're buying on a site.
Yeah, even if you buy all of the silver that's available right now, like
Mm-hmm.
physical bullion, like if you bought all of it, right? Every ounce and there was none left, it wouldn't make that much of a dent towards the actual spot price. It
Oh,
really wouldn't
hardly.
because
Yeah.
it's the
We're not the
paper.
biggest drivers of
Yeah,
it. No.
it's the paper contracts that control where the
Mm-hmm.
spot price goes. So yeah, buy all the bullion you want. It's not really going to affect spot price, which is an
Right.
interesting concept. Obviously, they would need to backfill and be ordering more. They pull from the COMEX, and eventually it would trickle through and have an effect, but not immediately.
Nope. You're absolutely right. Retail purchases are not the biggest driver in these prices. In fact, what would really make the biggest difference is when institutional buyers step in droves. When they start scooping up the physical metals, that's when you're going to see, I think, the spot price shoot way up.
Now we do have a question here from Wealthy Alloy 27, and he mentioned it was his first time. So welcome to the stream. And he says, at what
Good to
price
have you.
should people start to lean towards purchasing gold? This is an interesting question. It depends on where you are in your
Mm,
stacking journey. Did you just get started? Also, how old are you? What are you going to
hmm
prefer? If you're in your 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s, like it'll change based on where you are at in your own life. But I actually don't look at it in terms of the price. I don't say, oh, if gold goes to 2,000, I'll buy more. I don't say, oh, if silver gets too expensive at $40, I'll just buy gold. To me, the price is kind of irrelevant. I actually look at the ratio between the two to figure out what I would prefer to buy. And I know Yankee has a different strategy, but because I'm in my 30s, I've got a lot more time to kind of play the ratio and uh, I can afford to put more of my money into the volatile silver or whatever. So for me, I really don't even look at gold until the ratio is between 60 and 80, and we're right at 80. So if silver keeps going up, I think gold is going to look a lot more appealing in the next few months. But what's your strategy, Yankee?
I think it boils down to two things, and it's really less about the price, wealthy alloy. Um, it's two things for me. One is what your strategy is in your
Mm,
goals, right? Very important to know why you're stacking both, because I stack both for similar yet very different reasons. The other is how much are you able to convert into these metals, right? I did a video, I think it was like 8 months ago, talking about what to buy on a budget. So if your budget's here, look around for this. If it's here, 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 and I think around the $5,000 mark is when I said, maybe mix in a little bit of gold, right? So, and as it goes higher, gold becomes more of an interest to stack densely, but also the strategy. If your strategy is, hey, listen, I want the potential massive upside with silver, then you buy more of that. If it's to hedge in other ways, or like so Dragons loves to say, you're getting older like me. You might not have the time horizon. You're less interested in that volatility of silver. You want to stack dense. You want to be able to have more stable growth. You stick more with the gold. So those are the two pieces, right? What your strategy is, how much you have to convert.
yeah, and the whole thing with age, if you're
Mm-hmm.
actually using metals for part of your retirement plan,
Mm-hmm.
then you don't want the volatility. So that's why gold
Exactly.
looks so much more appealing. And then obviously, if you've really built that massive stack,
Mm.
silver is going to be harder to move. It's bulky,
Mm-hmm.
gold very very dense, and so some of the
Very
advantages to
dense too.
stacking
Yeah.
gold later in your life, right?
It's in both, right? We love both. You and I both love both.
Right.
And we have different ratios, and that's fine. We have different buy ratios. In fact, was there a question in there about what your ratio is for buying? I
I'm
think I
sure
saw one in
someone
there.
asked it. I'm sure.
Yeah, it that fluctuates year to year for me. I mean, right now it's more like 300 or 400 to 1. So I buy a lot more ounces of silver now than I did say last year,
Yeah.
right? I did. I lean more towards the gold last year, and I'm glad I did, to be honest with you, because I thought gold was going to lead silver, so I wanted to get in on it quick. But now it's mostly silver. That's been a lot of my focus now.
Yep. Silver is the better buy. I think we all agree on
Right now.
that. Right now.
Yep.
Correct. Right now.
Mm-hmm.
We got a question here from Hector. Do you recommend new stackers to tread carefully given how
Mm.
high spot price is right now? Should newbies be buying minimal amounts of silver and loading up once it drops again? Great question.
I, what do you think?
Look, here my buy strategy doesn't really change. And what I think the best strategy is just to dollar cost average. You just buy every 2 weeks, every paycheck, every month, whatever.
Mm.
Whenever you do your budget for the month and you figure out how much left over you have, whatever your deal is, it's not like you buy less on purpose when the price is going up. You just can't buy as much because it's more
Mm-hmm.
expensive. So if you're spending, like $1,000 a month and silver is at $20, you get more ounces than if silver's at $30. It doesn't really
Yep.
change. Um, but that being said, if you do kind of buy on the dips a little bit more and buy a little bit less when it's going up, you can kind of affect it a little bit, like
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
get a few extra ounces here and there, which there's nothing wrong with that. So I don't know. I mean, I am not going to buy anything today. I'm probably not going to buy anything tomorrow. I'm going to wait till Monday
Right.
and see what
Smart.
happens.
I agree with you. I think that's good. But again, this is a new stacker. You're a seasoned stacker, right? Dragons.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
a new stacker, the thing that we see this question all the time, and I understand why it's being asked, but I think we're going to hear this all the way up.
Right.
Dragons. 30, 40, 50, 60. Do you recommend new stackers tread carefully given how high spot price is right now? No, I'm serious. If it's 92, 120, a few years from now, will we really be worried that it was between 28 where I bought it or 29 or where I bought it at 30?
Right. Yeah, yeah. If silver
It's
does what we
perspective,
think it's going to do, then
right?
it's kind of irrelevant.
And people need to have that long-term mindset. I tell people this all the time. Unless you're a trader and you think, oh, I'm going to flip this stuff really fast and I'm going to trade it back and forth and try to make money on it, which is really not the purpose of buying silver for me. You want to have that longer term mindset. Think years, guys, not months or weeks or days, right?
I'm thinking decades. I mean,
There. Okay, fine.
honestly, I'm
That's a lot of
thinking
years.
I'm hoping to keep it for 40 more years.
Hmm.
So
Hmm.
that
You mean after I'm gone?
I didn't say that. You could still be around in 40 years, Yankee.
Yep.
It's
You're
possible.
absolutely right.
It's
I
possible.
plan on it. Yeah. Keep exercising, keep riding my bike every day. Yeah, all right. I could do it.
Okay, there was a few questions about a backpack. I've
Ooh.
never even thought about buying a bug out bag. I know you're more of a prepper,
Oh,
Yankee. Do you have any
yeah, dude.
recommendations for stuff like that, or are you still looking?
I don't have a recommendation on the best backpack. I think that's a fantastic idea. You might, depending on how much silver you have. I mean, seriously, I could carry my gold in like just two hands, or you know what I'm saying? That's easy. But the silver, you're going to have something with wheels potentially. So, I mean, but with a backpack, I love it. I love that. I don't, because of where I live and the
Yeah.
community I've developed, I focus more on bugging in than bugging out. Now, if you're in a different situation, if you live in Portland or if you live in, Boston, or if you live in some areas or an apartment or something and you need to bug out, I think that's a great question. I don't have a specific recommendation for a backpack. I have a backpack right behind me that I use to carry my silver stuff around. But yeah, I think that's a really good idea.
Yeah, whatever
Think about how
backpack
you're going to move it. Yep.
yeah, whatever backpack you have, hopefully you have some other metals in there as well, like steel and
Yeah.
copper.
Yeah. Yeah.
you
Yeah. The
know,
other precious metal.
you
I
guys know
agree.
what I'm talking about. The old jelly bean dispenser. Of course. All
So
right.
important. Yep. It's true.
Thank you, Caleb, for the $5 super chat. He said, "Do you think collectible, semi-collectible U.S. silver coins will hold any of their extra value if we get to the point where we're using silver as currency?" Oh man, I don't
I
think
can give
so at
you
all.
I can one word answer. No.
Silver is silver at that point, right? I mean, if you're literally using it as a
Absolutely.
currency, no way.
Yeah, my recent video where I talked about slab graded and certified modern bullion, gold and silver, stay away from it by and large for stacking. It goes the same way with other semi numismatics. Anything that's fun, look at it and go, wow, I'm really enjoying this. This is fun. Maybe I'll flip it, but it will only be valued for its silver content in an SHTF scenario,
Right,
period.
but obviously once we get through SHTF and people are looking
Yeah.
back and start collecting again, sure it could
Wow.
it could gain a lot.
Okay.
So
Yeah. All right. I'm not talking about a crisis. I'm talking about a collapse. It'll be very interesting to come out of that focusing on semi-numismatics again.
That's true.
It really will. It really will.
Okay,
That'll be an
yeah, yeah. In a
interesting
collapse,
scenario.
it's going to take a while to rebuild, but
Oh yeah, generationally. Let's hope this doesn't happen. I get accused of that all the time. Oh, Yankee, you prepper stacker, you want to. I do not want this to happen. It's like somebody buying auto insurance and being excited about being able to use it. No,
right.
it's insurance.
We have a question here about sizing. It looks like for silver. Why do you
Mm,
prefer full 1 ounce compared to fractional? To
mm.
me, it seems in SHTF, the smaller denominations would be better to barter.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
He's right.
yeah, you're not wrong, but that's why you have junk silver.
Right. Yes.
I mean,
Constitutional silver, 90%. Great fractional silver. Yes, you can buy fractional 3/9 fine silver.
I
You gotta be
just
very
bought a
careful.
ton of it at the last coin show.
Oh, you did?
I got the most insane deal, Yankee.
Really?
I
Tell me about it.
I think I want to say I bought it for 28.50 an ounce for 10th ounce. I mean,
That's
dude,
fantastic.
I literally cleaned up. That's like way under spot right now
Oh my
for one
goodness. What
10th ounce rounds.
what was spot at the time? Around that or
Yeah, it was
it was
like
less?
28 or 20
Okay.
27.90 or
Still,
whatever it was.
yeah. That can be a very challenging proposition to get fractional 1/10 ounce silver, pure silver, three
Oh,
ninths fine
dude, I
silver.
I
Wow,
bought
nice job.
all that he had, and I was like, "You got any more back there?" Like, I will literally buy every single piece.
Dude,
Um, so
that's great.
hey, occasionally you can find a really good deal on it,
And I
but
love it. I think that's let's just talk for a second because you said the Guardian said barter at the end of his question there.
right,
Barter, you want to have multiple options. You want to
true.
diversify your barter options. You don't know what someone is going to look at and go, I don't trust it, I don't want it, I don't like it. So having a diverse barter fodder is great. You got 1/10 ounce silver for close to spot. That's fantastic to have.
Yeah, yeah, I felt really excited about that.
You should have been,
I
yeah.
think I bought a few hundred of them. Like, it wasn't crazy. I
Nice.
didn't get like thousands, but I
Very
I
cool.
bought all that he had, and I was really stoked on it.
Yeah,
So
I got a tube of 1/10 3/9 fine silver rounds. It wasn't quite the deal that you got, but it was pretty decent. So, yeah, you got to be careful of the premiums with fractional silver. You
yeah,
do
if you're paying retail price, it could be like double spot.
exactly.
So it's just where you get it and all
Mm-hmm.
that. Uh, all right. I've been trying to look for one of these macroeconomic type questions,
That's
and
okay.
a lot of them are more like stacking based right now.
Sure, let's go for it. Keep going. That's fine.
Okay. Let's see. Best silver on a budget. I'm a beginner stacker. What's the absolute best?
Mm-hmm.
What do you buy when you're looking to buy premium silver? Most of them are about buying, it looks like. And I think we pretty much covered our favorites. I am curious though, Yankee.
Mm-hmm.
You've been stacking for quite a long time. How has your opinion shifted, right, from when you first started stacking until now in regard to what is the absolute best thing to stack? Has it changed or has it always been the same forever? What do you think?
All right. So I was a little dogmatic in the beginning.
Okay.
Only this, never this, right?
Yeah.
And premiums had fluctuated and changed over the years. So I had to be more adaptable. And I created a tier system, TIER, right? Tier one, tier two, tier three. So my tier one targets, the things that I really want for silver. Tier two, I can't get the tier one because there's so much premium. And so
Mm,
I'll go to the tier two and I'll be happy with that. And then there's tier three that I occasionally get. So that matured, if you will, sort of flesh that out a little bit more. I had to be more flexible. But I still the stuff that's in those tiers are still the same. That hasn't changed. Um, I would say my stacking stuff has really stayed pretty consistent. What I like, why I buy it, I'm a prepper stacker, not a collector stacker or a flipper stacker. So I'm not looking for high premium semi numismatics a lot. Occasionally I'll get some just for fun to keep it fun and interesting, or gift it to someone to get them interested. I've rarely, if ever, flipped anything. I buy and hold it. I never sell, because I'm primarily focused on the utility of silver as real money, as a potential barter, and I'm prepping with it. Gold is a different category. So a lot of that strategy, stacking the Yankee way, hasn't changed over the years. I've just fine tuned it. I share one other thing though. I think that has changed just a bit.
Yeah.
I primarily look at gold and silver as a way to preserve your wealth, not to build it. I invest in a whole host of other commodities and physical, tangible stuff like real estate, right? So I've looked at investing in one category and speculating and all that. And then I look at gold and silver is primarily real money and a way to preserve your purchasing power over the long term. Okay. So it's preservation. It's more about wealth preservation rather than wealth building. And I know people sometimes have not agreed with me on it. My point is, I have softened that stance a little bit because of the lag that especially silver has had against its all-time highs, all-time inflation adjusted highs. And I think there is maybe a once in a lifetime opportunity to not just preserve, but potentially even build a little bit, because it has lagged so far behind
Right.
inflation that we see everywhere else in all kinds of tangible assets and commodities, right? Maybe that's the other thing that I've softened and changed a little bit.
Well, it'll be interesting to see what happens this decade, Yankee. I think we're predicting
I
some
know, right?
fireworks. So
It's going to be incredible. I'm ready for the ride, though.
yeah, we do
Thanks.
have a one question here about price suppression,
Mm-hmm.
potentially manipulation. What do you think of the 250 to 1 paper silver versus physical
Oh
silver?
my word!
When will that stop suppressing silver one day? Oh man. Do we need the collapse for that whole system to break?
I hate to say it, but I think so. I think you're going to need to see the reserve currency status completely gone. I think you're going
Yeah.
to need to see us start to hyperinflate. I think you're going to see panic. You're going to see other things like civil unrest and other stuff, a whole host of things that I'm prepping for to occur. And that creates a death of confidence. That starts a run, not a run on the banks necessarily, although I think that's factored in there too, but a run on commodities, a run on the COMEX. Can you imagine
I
people?
I
It
can't
can
imagine.
that is when right. We've talked about this. That's when that paper to physical ratio gets exposed, and that's when the COMEX goes, we'll settle
Yeah, sorry, we don't
with
have any
fiat
silver.
currency. Right. We'll give you some money, some currency. How's that? No, I want the silver. That's when I think it really, I hate to say shoots the moon, but really gets out of control. We start to see the actual value, the true market discovered value of silver.
Yeah, think about if there's no dollar, what is your silver worth if there is no
Ooh,
dollar? Think about it.
yeah.
Like
Oh, I've
and
thought a lot
and
about
also just do me this favor.
it.
Let's do a quick exercise. Let's
Okay.
say we're in collapse, right? Imagine your wealth. Now imagine there's no electricity. Imagine there's no internet. Imagine your property that you think you own, you don't actually own anymore, right?
Right.
What wealth do you have now? Sure, you got a car and you got some stuff or whatever, but where's your wealth?
Mm,
If you can't access your bank and all of that stuff,
hmm
how, like, what do you have, right? And in a
mm.
collapse, a lot of that stuff could go to zero, and you can never get it back, right? Whatever. So one thing I have been trying to do over the last 6+ years, as I've built up the stack, is trying to imagine my wealth not in dollars, because the dollar is a temporary thing. The dollar is a man-made idea, and it's not. It's only been around for what, like 300 years, or not even, right?
Can I add to that? Dollars are not what people truly want. They want what dollars can
Represent.
buy them.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
want the
The
actual
power.
stuff, the power that it gives to get actual things, right? Just like I have $1 trillion Zimbabwe piece of currency. Wow, trillion. Who cares? I can't get anything with it. Oh,
Exactly. Exactly. So once you start thinking about your wealth in ounces, how many ounces do I
mm-hmm.
have?
Mm-hmm.
That's how much wealth I have, right?
I
When
love it.
everything else gets stripped away, is
Yep.
what's their weight in silver? What's their weight in gold? And speaking of
Mm-hmm.
that, we did get another super chat. Thank you, Christopher James. He says, "At what point do you stop stacking silver for weight and start stacking silver for
Ooh.
trading to gold, strictly based on your comfortability of holding it,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
wherever you hold it?" Interesting.
Mm-hmm.
So I think he's saying, hey, I want to play the ratio at some
Mm-hmm.
point. Where do I max out in silver? And then at that point, all the silver I buy, I would just have the mindset of trading for gold.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I don't really think
When is it?
I think it's a moving target.
Yep.
I think once you think you have enough, you don't have enough. And I think that'll always be the case. And eventually when you want to trade for gold, you're just going to have to decide what percentage of your stack you're willing to let go. And I think the number is also different for everyone. To someone, 100 ounces of silver is a lot, and to someone, 10,000 ounces of silver is a lot,
Mm-hmm.
right? So we all have a different number in our head, but I think the bottom line is it will be a moving target, and it will be hard to know. I think you just need to take advantage of the opportunity if it presents itself. We see the ratio drop like crazy. Take whatever you're comfortable with and move it into gold at that point. So that's my thought.
Yep. I think that's great. I would only add this. When you think you're ready, try to do it before everyone else
Mm,
thinks they're ready. This is one of the reasons why I really don't like to play the silver to gold ratio with physical gold and silver, because I am truly concerned that it will be unobtainium. It's going to be a rush. I think there's going to be a rush to the door with the paper to silver ratio. But I think even before that, there could be a rush to the door of people trying to convert, and it's not there. You can't get it. So if you're in the position, this is my strategy here. If you're in the position, money wise, to be able to buy both, buy as much of each to fit your strategy and keep it.
right.
Keep it.
Don't play the rate. Yeah.
Don't play it. If you can afford not to play it, don't play it, because you're adding a level of risk. That's my opinion.
Right. But you can afford to add some risk. Again, based on where
Mm-hmm.
you're at.
Right.
So it's not for everyone. But for
Right.
me, I'm willing to add that risk. I'm willing to go
Mm-hmm.
only silver, like
Ah, you young buck.
literally only silver.
I know. I know.
I mean, I'm looking at the ratio,
You
saying,
will front run it though. Don't tell me you wouldn't try to beat everybody
no,
else.
I'll beat them just to do a video on it, but not all of the silver. Like I'll get rid of
A
my monster
video.
box of maples. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's gonna be the first thing to go. Okay.
Uh,
We do have a question here from Ryan. With a family of 4, how many ounces of silver should we have? 100 ounce a person, 200 ounce, etc. I
what's
love
your
this
debt?
question.
But what's your debt level? What's your current stack level? What's your target? Where are you at financially? Because there's other things. Quite frankly, I had somebody email me today saying, when should I go in and stack heavy? And I asked them a few questions. I'm like, dude, there are other things you need to get in line before
Before you
you
go
stack
heavy.
heavy,
Right.
right?
Right.
So it's a hard answer to do it in a vacuum here. Go ahead. You got a rule of thumb for 4 people?
Oh, I got it.
Go for it.
I'm
Go
so
for it.
ready for this question.
Do it.
um, okay, so I look at it as what is the minimum amount of silver you should have. And I did a video. It's
Mm-hmm.
probably like 2 years ago now. I don't really remember. But my rule of thumb is for every person in your family, you need a
Mm-hmm.
minimum of 40 ounces of silver. So with
Mm-hmm.
the family of 4, you get to 160 ounces. Now you can take a breath. Now you crush the debt, get in a better place, and then go hard. On the stacking. So
Interesting.
that's
Yeah.
I've never changed my opinion. I've always said
That's good.
40
That's
ounces.
awesome.
It's 2
40.
tubes
Yep.
of buffaloes per person. And when I made that rule of thumb, silver was around bucks an ounce
Mm-hmm.
ish, and so it was about $1,000 in fiat per person,
Mm-hmm.
and that just seems like a reasonable number to me. It's
Yeah.
also kind of what like Dave Ramsey recommends. You get that thousand
Mm-hmm.
dollars first.
Yeah, the baby step in silver and gold.
Yeah,
I want to
and
do a
then
video on. I want to do a prep. I want to do a stackers baby step. Baby steps.
that's baby step number one. You can have that
Right.
one for free, Yankee. You can take it, or maybe we'll go in on it together, huh? Joint video.
Maybe we should. I got a lot of thoughts around it. One thing that I look at when that question is asked, as a prepper stacker and a prepper too, I look at it as far as from an expense standpoint. I liked my rule of thumb was 1 year's worth of expenses in silver and gold.
Mm-hmm.
How much to take care of my family for a year. I do that with the food preps that I have and water and other things that I have, right? When it comes to precious metals, I look at especially silver, but also gold and silver as about a year. Now, as I've passed that amount, I kind of reset my goal here, but it's a really good goal for someone that's getting into stacking, especially with a family. What do you need 6 months worth of living expenses? What is it that you would be um, needing
Right.
in a worst case scenario, right? So that's how I view it.
Well, there you go. Okay, we have two questions relatively similar, but I'll
Mm-hmm.
tackle this one from Cindy. My husband has a coin collection,
Mm-hmm.
albums like a kid would try to fill. I want to sell these coins to buy silver. I guess my question is the collector value less important than buying silver? And I think we've kind of been like hinting around that, but
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
But
if you enjoy the albums, I mean, you don't need to sell everything to buy silver right now. I mean, I don't think anyone's saying go all in. It's your last chance. I mean, we're
mm-hmm.
certainly not saying that.
No.
Couldn't you just keep those and then stack as well? I mean,
How about a balance? Because I ran into this a little bit, not a
yeah,
lot. I mean, growing up, I would get like a proof set or something every year for Christmas, or I had a collection, a little album, whatever. I turned a lot of those things in and bought silver, but there are things that I kept
you got to
that were
keep
really
some of it.
special sentimentally. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I kept the 1964 proof set that my dad had. It was showing me when I was a kid. I'm not selling that. I'm not selling other stuff too that really have sentimental value, but I did sell some.
Yeah, I think if you just started stacking and
Mm,
you got the silver bug, you got the fever, and you just want to go go go, and you're like, what can I get rid of to get more silver?
right.
I do understand that because I had that when I first started. I was like, what can I put on eBay? What can I trade for more weight? And so I get that, but hold on to a little bit of it for sure
Right.
because I think you would regret getting rid of all of it.
Mm-hmm.
But I do have friends who literally they're like everything out. I want nothing but silver.
Mm-hmm.
So I understand it.
I'm not gonna get a chance to
Your macro,
yeah, something I was reading today and listening to that I found
just
very interesting.
go,
All right,
just
so we
go.
are actually, you know how we like to talk about the federal government just or the Fed printing, 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 right?
Yeah,
Expanding the money supply, making more and more currency, M2, all that, right?
yeah.
Well, we're actually in the midst of a monetary contraction right now. Of
Mm-hmm.
course, we've gone way up, so it's not like we're coming back down to where it was,
Yeah, it's still
but
higher
it's
than 2 years ago
right, but
or
it's
5 years
contracting.
ago. Right.
Do you know that it's only happened 4 times in modern history? And every single time it has led to a recession or a depression. Every time.
Oh,
So we need to remember that we are probably already in a recession. I get, I got some troll in my video saying, "What are you talking about, Yankee? There's no way we're in a recession." Okay, fine. I steered him back to the Great Recession. I'm not sure he was alive then, but 2008, we all remember the Great Recession. Well, guess what? The Great Recession actually started in December of 2007, a
right.
year after they realized it. They went back and revised an entire year's worth of data the Fed did. Even halfway through 2008, they were still, economists, that is, were still thinking, recession's not going to come. We're not in a recession. And then they revise it. It started in December of 2007. So we could be in the midst of it now, right? And the last thing I'm going to mention is this: inflation really is the expansion of the money supply, but it's not just that. It's also the expansion of the supply of credit.
Mm.
People look at credit. It's almost as if they had the money, right? Cash. Because people can buy things with credit. And that is exactly what's going on right now. We have record household debt. We have record credit card debt. That is also inflation. We are seeing it expand like crazy. So at some point, this is going to hit hard. I believe I think stagflation is the name of the game here. And I think we are about ready to hit something that no one's prepared for. And that is an inflationary depression
Well,
in this decade. I really believe that's coming
it,
fast.
yeah, that's like a kind of perfect storm here for
It is the
metals.
perfect storm. It's the perfect storm for metals. Oh, fine. You brought it home, buddy. Thank you. It is the perfect storm for metals. So to back to some of those questions, is it too high right now? Oh, we'll be looking. I think we're going to look back at $30 an ounce in silver and just going to go,
Should have
oh
bought
my
more.
word. Oh, why didn't I buy more? I
Yeah.
really think that's going to happen.
Well, and it depends on your timeline too, right? Because we're talking about like, oh, in the
Years,
next 6 years, what's it gonna do?
years. Right, right,
You
right,
know,
right.
but
But
really, I
people
mean,
need to have that kind of long-term mindset.
no, I don't think that's long enough.
No, okay, it might.
What about when we're in the 30s, the 40s? I mean, think about all of the,
I I
programs
know.
they're trying to do where the whole
Right.
world is trying to head kind
Mm-hmm.
of, like it's more debt. that's that's what they're headed for. And it doesn't have if you're holding dollars, not a bright future. Not a
Do
bright
you know?
future.
Do you know our debt is increasing by $1 trillion roughly every 100 days
That sounds about
of
right.
federal debt? Think about that. In next year, they think we're going to have more with the interest rates that we're at right now.
Hmm.
We'll have more uh, debt towards debt servicing the interest on our debt than the national cost for national security, for more than Social Security, more than Medicare, more than
Whoa.
all of those things. Think about that. Just
Yeah.
to service the debt.
Yeah, you
It
get
could
to
be
a point where
next
you
year.
can't climb out of that hole. I mean, we're
We
already
can't get
probably
out of
there.
this.
Yeah,
Yeah, we can't
they're
get
not
out
going to
of this.
balance the budget. They're not going to
No,
start crush. There's no way. No
nope.
way. Doesn't matter who the
It's,
president is. It doesn't like none of
yeah,
that
either
matters.
side of the aisle, we're screwed, in
Yeah,
my opinion. Yeah.
the hole is too deep to climb out of.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, no, I agree with you. I think it's going to keep getting worse, and yeah, I think
We need
stack
to be
away.
stacking it. Yep.
We probably
Uh,
got time for one more here.
And before we do it, guys, if you haven't put anything into the chat or
Time to
you've
put
been
it in the chat.
trying to do it, I'm just saying right now, I've been harvesting some names, so you might want to do it.
Yes, type anything at all into the live chat if
Okay,
you
how many
want
people?
to win free silver. Okay,
All right, go.
this is like directed at you. So it's a question from
Me?
Dave. What do you
Okay.
think of secondary silver eagles? Come on, Yankee, let me hear it.
I love them. I think he's talking about calls,
Yes,
circulated,
yes,
scratched up, ugly.
damaged.
Buy as many as you can if they're on sale. If they're close to spot, anywhere near as close, buy them, buy them, buy them. I love that silver.
Yep. And speaking of eagles, we did get one more super chat here from Johnny. With
Mm.
eagle premiums up, do you think it's a good time to sell them and purchase generic? No. No, no, no. You should have done it
Yeah, your time
12
was
months
about a
ago.
year ago. Yeah, right.
You missed the boat, Johnny.
That was the time to do it. Whether the premiums were insane.
I
Yep.
know people that did do it, and I'm a little bit jealous, but I like having my eagles. I'd be a little bit sad if they all flew away. So, yeah, no, don't sell them to buy generic. Just buy generic. Don't sell anything right now
Yes. Don't sell your metals.
or ever.
I know. That's kind of my philosophy.
So we're gonna be doing this giveaway here.
Yes.
We're gonna be shutting down the podcast
Mhm.
So everyone who has joined us on the podcast, thank you so much for listening, and we'll see you next time on Silver Pros.
Stack like a pro.
And for everyone here live on YouTube, get ready for this giveaway. Yankee's gonna to pull it up here.
Yeah.
And
I
while
need to
you're doing
bring
that,
this
Yankee,
up.
can I just
Mhm.
mention something?
Please.
Okay.
Oh.
We
Oh,
have
yeah.
this tiny little itsy bitsy giveaway going on my channel.
Oh, come on.
It's
It's not tiny at all.
it's like this baby giveaway of a giveaway
Get off.
with my good friend
Come
Harry.
on.
And if you haven't noticed, we're approaching 250,000 subscribers.
Quarter
And
of a million
I
subscribers.
know, quarter million.
Dude,
I know.
you're killing it.
And it's just stay tuned. That's all I could say. Is it more
Oh,
than
it's not little. Come on. Give me a hint.
it okay. It's more than 1 ounce of gold. It, you'll just have to wait and see. It's a very large. It's I've already said too much. It's
Yeah, you need to stop.
it's gonna blow your mind.
Wow. Dude, that's amazing.
Anyway,
What a giveaway. I'm there.
already said
All
too
right.
much.
I know, right?
Should we do this giveaway?
I think we should. All right, I'm going to gather up some names. Not everybody that watches puts stuff in the chat. It is less than the total amount of viewers. It always seems to be that way, but
Right.
all right. So let's
I've
grab
moved
what we
over
got.
to the wheel. By the way, the gold giveaway that we're doing, I'm going to be out of town, so it's probably not even going to be next week. It'll be over 250. Like, it'll be in celebration of 250. It's not going to be right when we hit it. Just so you guys know, a little bit of patience would be appreciated. So, but it's
All
coming
right.
up, I promise.
So we're going to spin right now for the silver tree of life, right?
Yes, the 1 ounce silver tree of life, courtesy of SD Bullion. Good luck, everyone.
Here we go.
And yeah, one winner tonight. But hopefully it doesn't land on me or Yankee, because then
Oh, please don't do that. No, we have to give away an
we've
extra.
never had it happen.
on Silver Pros, right? Never, right?
I've never even seen it. Have you
No,
had it
I
happen?
know my name's on there. Yeah, I saw mine. Matthew Crustlife and Mr. C. Ooh,
Or
I think
silver buff?
no, I think it's gonna be Mr. C.
There it is.
Congratulations.
Congratulations. Mr. C, you are the winner. Go ahead and email me, silverdragons47@gmail.com, and make sure you include your phone number, your name, and your mailing address, so we can get that free silver sent off to you.
Awesome.
And
Well,
as Yankee mentioned before, real quick, we do this like every other week, and we alternate channels. So make sure you subscribe to Yankee Stacking. You're not going to want to miss the next time we go live here on Silver Pros. So check him out, and he's got great videos as well, of course.
Thanks, buddy. I appreciate it. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed this edition of Silver Pros, and wow, it was a lot of fun. Love answering your questions. And
Hey.
we'll see you next time. But what do you, what?
Where do you think silver's going to be the next time we do a Silver Pros?
Okay, should we just guess right now?
We got like 1 minute. Should we guess?
It's
Come on.
going to be over 30. That's as far as I'll go. It's going to break and hold. That's what I think it's going to do. It's going to break and hold 30.
Okay, I'll say 27 just to be the...
Okay. All right.
Yankees
We'll
got over 30.
I'm out on a
I got
limb here.
I got $27 next time we do Silver Pros. All right, hold us to it. Let us know.
Oh, brother. They'll hold us to it.
All right, thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.
Take care, guys.